afternoon, good evening, good morning, here, folks. This is your man, always George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. Well, folks, the weekend is here. I mean, folks, it is flying by. Can you believe it? We just got, I think, 2 more weeks left of May. And also we have a big show coming up this weekend, the New York Pro. I will watch it, and also Sunday we'll do a little critique afterwards. And also, while I'm here, I want to give an announcement to somebody. My big brother, Mr. Big Keith Williams, IFB Pro. Today is his birthday. Shout out to my man, Big Keith. Yeah, he is. He comes out. He's my podcast partner. Great guy. Love the brother. Known for quite some time. And also another lady had a birthday. Also, IFB Pro, Miss Rashana Boswell. And I'm pleasure meeting her. Had her been on my channel a couple times in interviews. I want to give them both a shout out. And a couple of ladies who also had a birthday today, so I can't get to all of you, but I want to wish y'all all a happy birthday. So, folks, I have here a lovely lady, and she compete in wellness. That's a division that gets my interest a bit, But but she also is a teacher, a mother, and she also has a history where she was dealing with being overweight, and she fought her battle, and it's still a battle for anybody who ever been through it. It's something to go through. We have here the lovely Mrs. Krystal Howell. Is I got your name right, madam?
Yes, you did. Great.
Yeah, like you're like Thurston Howell the third. Love it. That's what season. So she is. I think she just competed about a month ago at Sampson, and that was in
I That was in March, and then I just did the Valley of Sun in Phoenix.
Yeah, that's a show that's promoted by a guy who I'm a fan of, and that's Mr. Jake. Yo, Jake,
Yes.
I want that money. I want that gun. He is the guy who runs Ring of Strength. Shout out to him. And man, we welcome you and thank you for your time.
Thanks.
All right. So, what got you started, as I call it, this sport of muscle and masculinity? Please share.
I think I've always been an athlete. I played D1 ball and I was an athlete, but when I was 20, I was diagnosed with lupus and it was pretty severe. I was actually told I wasn't going to live past 25 and I should get my affairs in order. They put me on a myriad of cocktail of drugs that I truly feel like made me feel worse. And after about a couple months of that, I decided to use food and get back in the gym and try to just beat this thing, which obviously I did. And then that was going really well until I got pregnant and had my son. And then my body went into chaos again. And it would take me another 14 years to figure it back out. And it was not until 2019 to 2020 I told doctors, I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm allergic to sugar and refined carbs. And they said there was no way. And I said, I'm pretty sure. And so I just started cutting it out. And then next thing you know, everything fell back into place again. And then since then, I've just been going like gangbusters until 2 years ago when I was diagnosed with a brain tumor and a cyst in my frontal lobe. So now I just push forward until I have to have surgery.
Wow, I'm telling you, you went through hell and back. Most people, I mean, between lupus and then, stuff after you have your son and then finally have a brain tumor. I mean, oh God. I mean, God bless you, my dear. God bless
Oh,
you.
thank you.
Yeah, this like I said. So what got you really into bodybuilding? Like, how did it start for you?
Well, honestly, well, I'm going to be 48 at the end of this month. So I grew up with Nautilus gyms, and my dad was a football player, and he got me in the gym, and he's the one with the mindset who trained me with that type of mindset to be an athlete and that. I would say it wasn't until after I had my son, I was here in Vegas, and I started training with Lisa Malloy, who she's a judge now, and I trained with her for quite some time, and that really helped kickstart the whole journey back on again. But it was always a battle with lupus and my body. So, but I think bodybuilding truly does give people, especially somebody like me, it's just like it's something to really achieve and to continue to push through to be better.
Yeah, I found quite a few ladies I've interviewed like yourself who were going through either tragedies in their life, and that's how they got into bodybuilding, or in some cases, they had like a athletic background, and then life hits them, and and having kids, responsibilities, and then they found something that kind of got them a new set of discipline compared to, because
Yeah,
I used to play football. Yeah, I used to play football when I was younger, and then we get to the real world. I never had kids, but you get a job, and then you get kind of lazy and complacent, and it just you have to find something that help you to break those patterns.
100%. a
Yeah.
100%. And I think you're completely right. I was just having this conversation last week with another competitor. I said it's funny because I'm starting to realize after talking to all these girls backstage and everything, everybody comes back around to bodybuilding through some kind of tragedy, discourse, something happens in their life, and it really helps you, just get your mind back and keep moving forward.
Yeah, because I think bodybuilding is a very extreme sport in most cases, and the everyday person they see it like this. It's pumping steroids and get muscles and get big and yada yada yada, like Schwarzenegger. But from the conversations I have with you ladies, there's more to it. There's the diet, the consistency, the discipline. I mean, and you have kids. How many kids you got?
I have three. I have a 22-year-old, a 21-year-old, and a 17-year-old.
Okay, two about grown
And
up, one's still a
my
baby.
21-year-old's a competitor.
Yeah, I
He
seen that he
competes in
competed with
classics this
you.
week.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
because he said stay with his mom. I don't know if I could stay around my mom in a posing suit and I'm half naked. I don't know if I can do it, but respect to your son, and that's good that and again, you have three kids to raise, you have your husband, and that's a lot of responsibilities. In bodybuilding, there's a lot of sacrifice you have to make, like time and and just the money. That's a big part of it, especially for y'all ladies. It's more of a expense compared to the men.
Yeah, I wake up at 1:30 in the morning to go. When I'm in prep, I wake up at 1:30 a.m. to make sure I get all my cardio done before I have to get to school. And if I have night cardio or lifting in the afternoon too, right after. Yeah. So my husband is a godsend because he puts up with me and my crazy hours too and helps me support, going through all this. Because it is a full on family affair some days.
Yeah, and you say you go to school, so you're a teacher. So how long you been doing that, and when did you start?
28 years. And I'm trying to retire right now so I can just spend more time with my family before I have to have surgery or anything. I'm praying this is my last year because I do teach weights and conditioning. So a lot of up and down and yelling at kids and outside in the heat you know, and then breaking up fights.
God bless you, teachers, because you know what? I know I wasn't the best student in my, but I do, respect what y'all do because
Thank
it's a
you.
tough job, and y'all don't
Oh,
get enough credit like you should, because you have to deal with kids now these days who don't know how to act right. Back in the day when I was going to school, if you had a problem, but kids, you got to talk it out. Hey, there's no talking. We you go blow the blow.
yeah.
We got here my man KL the Wonder. He says, shout Jim says, good evening. Thank you, brother. Also he says this says, happy birthday, Keith. Appreciate that, brother. Also, he says this says, that's a lot. 1:30 in the morning. You say you get up when do you go to sleep? I mean, because
Especially in
you got
Vegas.
yeah, because you're like I said, you're in Vegas, so that's a different hour
Yes.
time. So like I know sometimes like there's times where I get up in the morning, I might wake up about 5 or 6 because it's just old habits. I'm a country boy, get up the chickens, and sometimes I'll get a text from her. I said, "You up this early?" It's a couple of times. So wait a minute, it's like 2 o'clock. So but yeah, that's like I said again, the sleep because you got to think about it. You have to go to bed at least by 9 o'clock.
Oh, 9 o'clock's too late. I have to be in bed. I like to be in bed between 5 and 6, and my household set up so I can do that. And People always tell me I'm crazy, but the thing is like that's what's important to me. I want to be able to achieve these goals, and the only way I can do it and have the energy to do the gym and everything and then go to school and work with kids all day. If you've ever worked with, I have like 425 students. So one full day dealing with 425 students and then trying to train even after that it's exhausting. So I'd rather get my best effort in the morning before I get there and then go.
Well, like I said, God bless you, because you know what? I couldn't deal with four kids than 420. I mean, they, yeah. God bless your teachers. So
It's a
now,
challenge.
yeah, sure. So what was that experience like when you first started? What was the division you started out first? Because I know most competitors have division they
Bikini.
start out, in bikini. That's usually typical for some competitors. And what's that experience
Yes.
like for you? You got to think about it. You're on stage, you're halfway butt naked.
Yes. Well, that was terrifying because, I honestly had just lost like 150 pounds when I did that. So there was definitely loose skin. I was starting at the age of 46 and it was terrifying. And one girl was standing behind me. She's like, "Is this your first time?" And I said, "Yes." She goes, "It's okay. We don't look our best on our first time." And I wanted to take my heel off and hit her, but I'm like thinking like I'm three people away from stepping on stage. Like I'm trying to just keep my shit together. So, you know, I then realized like I am not like this. And what I noticed was the women in the upper divisions were much nicer. And I was like, I want to be like them. They're nice. I want to be around those girls. I want to have more muscle. So went back and started training even more and just kept grinding at it and moved up to wellness. And then this year I just started competing in wellness and figure.
Yeah, I know. I know. I've had conversations with some ladies that tell me that the bikini girls are bitches. I mean, they just. I know. I'm just straight up for. I'm not a fan of division so much. I have interviewed some nice ladies who compete in bikini. Some,
Yes.
nice ladies. I have some, but generally, I think the good majority are, but I think a bunch of snot nosed little brats. And also the division, excuse me, to the division is like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Y'all already done? You're done? Okay. Oh, we mean we got to wait for another. Okay. And
Yeah.
with wellness, it's been a while, but some of y'all ladies, y'all physiques are just, especially if you look at it, it's about the booty. And I'm a man
Yes.
from the South, and we like our booty. It's just something about it. It's just y'all still have that great balance of femininity, also muscle. I think that's why I think it's so
Yes.
popular. Because I had a friend of mine, she was a figure competitor, and now so she did figure and physique and women's bodybuilding. She just recently switched over to wellness. And I interviewed a lady who also is a wellness pro, but she's switching back to physique. I know a couple of ladies also
Oh,
switch. Right now, I would love to get my hands on a full blown IFB pro. I have done one with one pro, but I want to get another one. I want to because I really want to expand out my interests.
yeah. I think it's about, though, I think why, for me, I would think is finding out where you feel best at too, competing. And especially this year, I was like, I feel more at home in figure. Like to me, I'm like, I'm just going to keep grinding to try to do better in that category because I feel like more at home with my body in that category. But there's, Tarek was like, the Valley of the Sun. He was like, all right, this is your best look yet. Keep going. You're going to get there.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a pleasure interviewing Robert Field, who is the king of wellness. He's the master pro wellness competitor. Training. He tries. He told me some how the aesthetics of wellness compared to the other divisions, and it's really surprising. Like I said, you still have to have that certain level of conditioning, shape, but also maintain that level of femininity. You have to walk that fine line. And Tariq has mentioned Tariq Tagundi, I think his name is. What's his
Hmm.
name? Yeah, he
Yeah.
runs the
Yeah.
muscle contest. He has a show coming up in September, which is the Grand Prix. A friend of mine competed there last year, and it's good that you got support of somebody like that who's in the game like he is. Shout out to my man, KL1. He says, shout out to you because you be teaching all those kids. Also,
Thanks.
he says, what do you get out of this discipline?
Ooh, that's a good question. You know what? With bodybuilding, I think it's crazy because you either love it or you hate it, especially prep. And my first prep, I was completely addicted. And I think it gives me a feeling of accomplishment. And for me, especially right now, where my doctors tell me I'm not supposed to be competing in bodybuilding. I shouldn't be able to lift weights like I do. I shouldn't be able to lose weight like I am. I shouldn't be able to do everything I'm doing. And I keep telling them, I'm like, well, I'm not average, so step in line and watch it. So I think right now, another fire for me is like I'm able to come in here every day and do what I do and prove all these doctors wrong. That is a big thing for me. And also, as I do that, I hope I'm showing my kids like just don't accept anybody's opinion or anything for you. Like you push through and do you.
Hmm.
But bodybuilding is definitely it's like the discipline of it. It makes me happy. It gives me a satisfaction like
It get, I think
of
somebody said
accomplishment.
it gives them a purpose because
Mhm.
it's a for I think one thing is it's a sport where instead of getting every people understand it, and then when you look at it, if you're a woman in this sport, you put in a muscle. Even you look at division like bikini, you look at some of the girls in wellness, even the other in also the new model fit model division supposed to be coming in. Excuse me, ha, and I think because this is very influential sport that it changes when you start
Mhm.
off in a certain aspect. Shout out here, my man KL. He says this. He says, uh, shout out to the bikini division, whoever, who cares. And also he says this. He says, uh, women bodybuilders ain't no peach neither. I heard. Yeah, nobody's perfect, but I still, like I said again, I've been a fan of women bodybuilding for a long time. It wasn't for that division others, it's the godmother of all the divisions. It wasn't for that one,
Absolutely.
the others wouldn't exist. I think
Absolutely.
actually with bikini, it was more brought in, but it's evolved instead of getting with the sport. Also, shout out to man KL. He's been dropping great response, and he says, "I like wellness also with those quads and legs." Yeah, you like anything, brother. You just he like me. We have a crime, Krista. We're muscle purse. Oh, we just love y'all buff ladies. We just excite us. So But folks, while we get her here, and if you want to follow her, her link in the description of this live stream. These ladies can use support. They can use people to show interest in them, genuine interest. But guys, it's a nice lady. She can talk with me. She got kids. They're grown. She got a man. Be respectful. Speaks. Stop it. Get some help. Come on. Sometimes the reason why I have ladies taking stories. Some guys are just wild. They're wild. So
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
So we're gonna jump into her social media for a bit. Here she is. You can check her out and follow her on IG. Now, we were supposed
Now,
to do an
how,
interview.
just so you know, my girl Chelsea Dion, who's competing tomorrow in the New York Pro, took some of those pictures too.
Oh yeah, because I know Chelsea got her own company, Photos by Chelsea, and
Yes,
that's your girl. I had the pleasure of
that is.
sitting in with her. Yeah, I had the pleasure of sitting in with her a while back. It was a discussion for a show that came out about 2 or 3 years ago. It was me, her, Female Body Channel, my man David Bryant, also Asher Hadley, and it was a pleasure. I hope she does good at the show, and here's
Us.
like a little video here. This is nice, yeah. You gotta get the shades on. You got that look to you. Wow, how you like modeling?
Oh, that's fun. I have a lot of fun. That is one of my coaches, Sam, with me in that picture. She's amazing.
Yeah. And she's one of your coaches. So who's your main coach?
Well, I that through the last prep was Missy Truscott, and
Ah,
then Sam trains me in person physically.
so Rich Trescott, the three-time fitness Olympian champion, who's now switching over the figure. So, what's
Yes,
your thoughts about your coach going over the figure?
I think it's amazing. I think she's gonna crush it. I think her physique is made for that. To be honest, I I think I can't wait to see her on stage. I think
Yes.
I forgot what show she said exactly. I watched her YouTube for that. But I want to say it was in August, but I'm very excited for her.
Here she's on stage announcing. Here you go. We give him over here.
Oh, that was out of school. Yes, I was giving a speech from on my mom's behalf.
Yeah. And is your mom still around?
She is, but that was the school she opened. She was the principal there, and she's in Utah now. So I went on her behalf for the kids there, and it was funny because then the kids all wanted to take pictures with me flexing.
Yeah, yeah, hey, you got some, hey, teenage boys in high school. Hey, we don't be caring. I mean, and your mom, she was a teacher. Your dad was a coach, and that's
Yes,
good that they taught you fundamentals,
yes.
and understanding everything here and what you're doing now as a teacher, teaching the next generation. You know, um, do do you really like what you do as a teacher?
I loved it more before COVID. I will be honest with you. The kids changed, the expectations changed, and it's not so much fun. I've been cussed out way too many times, and it's more acceptable here at least. So I'm not really
Yeah.
fond of that part.
Yeah, I understand. You know what? Children should just. Oh, you're a grown woman, and you're doing a job. And one thing is, the parents need to put their foot in their ass. It used
Thank
to be back in the day. If I did something bad, they'll call my mama. When I got home, I got whooped. I got whooped by
correct.
school. Got whooped by my mom. There's too much. Let kids get too way too much here. Here she is, and this is who's this? This is your boyfriend?
Oh, that's my son. That's my competitor's
uh,
son.
he's a handsome young boy. I mean, you should be proud of
Thank
him.
you.
That
Those are
he
his friends.
yeah, he followed his mother footsteps, and it's good that he found this sport, and it's something that inspired him, especially being a young man in this world. Here's this picture
Oh,
right here under.
absolutely.
Oh, yeah, wow. If I tell you have a nice body, love, will you hold it against me?
Well, I
I mean,
appreciate that. Thank you.
well, it's
I
my
might put
my it's hmm,
I put in some work.
well, man, it's my honor and pleasure to tell a woman that she's beautiful. It's a southern gentleman here, and that's your man, that's your husband.
That is my husband. And just like you, he was even more overweight, and we've been working. I've got him in the gym now, and he's working with Sam, and he's on his weight loss journey now too.
And how long y'all two been together? And what's his name?
His name is John, and we actually have been friends ever since high school. We were both married to somebody else, and we remarried 10 years ago, and we've been together 13 now.
So he's not the father of your two other kids. He's your stepdad.
So the one you saw, that's the competitor, that's my actual biological son, and then the other two are my stepchildren, yes.
Oh, okay.
We just
Well,
don't ever say that.
like I said, as long as you feed them and they start looking like you, you know.
They keep coming back like cats.
Yeah, hey, kids. I mean, I have nieces and nephews that they're not mine biologically, they're not my brothers and sisters, but we raised them like they were own. I got a niece, her name is, we call her Nunu, and my sister used to take care of her, and she used to come and stay with us on the summer. My mom always get her. Sometimes my brother would get her. When I remember my brother passed away, and we told her he died. It was like her losing her daddy because he always found a way to get her. Here she is with Jay Cutler, Mr. Olympia, and he's a legend here, and here she is.
He's very nice and very personable. We Our first show with my son was, oh, there's Sam.
Mhm.
That's my local coach. He's very hands-on, and with all of his contestants, he's a very personable and great guy.
Yeah, well, you got a great look to you. Like I said, you're a lovely lady, and you
Thank you.
you really have really come a long way, especially being overweight and finding your passion for bodybuilding and putting the work in
Yeah.
because it takes a lot of time, especially when you are older. If like our
Oh,
body changes,
yes.
yeah, because I'm going to be 51 in November,
Oh,
and
okay.
I tell you, I'm parts of me starting to break apart. I mean, I got two bad knees like Stone Cold Steve Austin. I mean, I got issues with my shoulder. I mean, it's a lot. Here she is with a lovely family, a husband and her
Yes.
kids, and that's good that they stand by you, and support you because most people, don't understand why would anybody get something like a sport like bodybuilding.
No, and I will be honest, my husband, there's times he's like, I think you and Brendan are crazy. And when we're like in the calorie deficit doing cardio and it's, at the end and you're like crying at home because you're like, I'm so tired and hungry. But then he's like, and then I'm like, well, it passes. He's like, yeah, I'm cool the way I'm at. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that's the thing is that bodybuilding is a sport about passion. When anybody get into it, understand the aspects of it, the dieting, the training, all that's involved with it, because this is a tough sport. Most
Mhm.
people wouldn't be able to do what y'all do. And because again, there's a lot of sacrifices that you have to make, the time you got to put in, in your expense, the travel, the training. And as an amateur, there is extra because you have to pay to compete, to qualify for like regionals. Like, are you nationally qualified, or you just waiting to do the right regional to get your qualification, or you just gonna wait after your surgery?
I'm gonna, my son. So my favorite thing in the world is being on stage and doing a show with my son. He has picked one in November here in Vegas. So I plan on doing that one, but I have a bunch of testing going on at the end of this month, and then that will predict my future for that. But at the last time we checked, they were saying roughly maybe around January.
Yeah. All right. So, and what was at the last competition? What's the critique for the judges? What things you need to work on to bring up
Oh, it's
your?
always the damn glutes. Um, yeah, like I said, he said it was my best package yet because he was actually the head judge at the show previous as well. And I'm just gonna keep going and trying, and that's all you can do as far as I'm concerned. There's nothing else I could have done or would have done different in that aspect. So we're just gonna keep building out the glutes and I love training back. So I can't. I'm very happy with figure that I get to train more back.
Yeah, because if you look at figure, the divisions are, as I said, this divisions are starting to change over time.
Yeah.
How figure started out, it was like off spin off of a fitness, and now you look at just had the Pittsburgh Pro this past weekend. You look at people like Lola Montez, as you know,
Oh,
that's going to be competition for your coach. You
mm,
look at people also. I think Nicole, Graham is competing this weekend. You look at Jessica Reyes Padillas. I mean, those ladies are the top of the top, and you can't forget the eight-time champ Cindy Gillen. Is there somebody that other than maybe someone like Missy, that you really admire or you respect as a competitor?
Um, current.
Either way.
I will tell you, like, one thing being closer to Chelsea is being a little bit more involved in seeing what she does as a pro and as a pro bodybuilder. That I'm just like, damn, like the sacrifice is really real and the respect is there. I think the respect is there for any competitor who steps on that stage and gets to that point. Like, there's not a negative word you can say about them unless it comes down to their personality. Because you did the work and you got on that stage. Like, I could never take that away from anybody, nor should anybody do that. But I will. It's funny. I was just talking with Sam today about it. But one of my favorites all time was who got me that I saw for the first time when I was in that Nautilus gym with my dad was Rachel McLish. That was the first time I've ever seen a female bodybuilder and what that looked like. And all I could remember thinking was like, damn, I want to be like her. And then my next favorite after her was Nicole Wilkins, and she was amazing. And then actually it was Missy.
Well,
So,
yeah, I got a friend of mine. Her name is Eunice. There's a picture. Eunice runs Bad Rap, and she told me how she got in bodybuilding was because of Richard McGlash, because her father was working being in a gym when he lived back in Texas, and and she get to meet her, but she saw a picture of her and said, "Who's the lady?" She said, "The lady that's on the gym." It was Richard McGlash. One lady who I'm a fan of, and you guys know who I'm a fan of. I can't help it because she's my girlfriend, and that is the lovely Miss Andrea Shaw.
oh,
Oh,
yes.
I just love her. I mean, Eunice a while back was I keep bringing this out because, as my other partner says, if you do something, never do it for free. And I call this my payment. My friend Eunice was at the 2023 Olympia, and she got me this issue. I always want to bring this out because this tells me how I appreciate anybody who do something for this for me. It was like a little bit after my birthday, and it was a gift she sent me. This, and it is the issue. It's the last issue of Muscle Development, and the one she was on the cover, and she saw Andrea there, and Andrea don't not even meet me, never even, she might have heard me something here there. She even signed it.
Oh, that is amazing.
I know I need
Oh.
to keep it to I need to put it in the frame, but I love it, and I forget what I call it, George. I just think she's just a great person, and it's amazing things like Angela Yo also. Like I said, I sat in with a podcast with Chelsea. I hope she does well at the New York Pro. I can't disappoint,
Oh.
not a lot of numbers for the show. I hope they bring it back next year, but I have some concerns because, like I said, I'm a fan of bodybuilding, women's bodybuilding, and I hate for it to get pushed out, because And who has the comments here? Shout out to my guest who's been here hanging in. Appreciate y'all, brothers. Here we have here is T by. He says, she is very sexy. I want to kiss her. I think her husband might have a question
He
about that.
he might have something to say.
Maybe I could meet Chelsea tomorrow because my man, he's going to be at the New York Pro. I hope you
Yes.
do, brother. Also, shout out to him. He says, Krystal is a bad girl on the low with those pictures. Hey, yo, I know. Also, he says this. He says, teachers abuse their word. Times I did give teachers a hard time, but I understand it's not easy. Yeah, it's not easy to be a teacher because you got to deal with kids and personalities. You know, and also he says Crystal fit model without the division. So we care about fit model. It's just I understand. No, I'm not saying understand. I get their point why they started, because they wanted a division that was very more feminine looking, more easy to be accessible for people. But after a while, it's going to end up like what bikini is now. That's just them. And like I said, you're in
It
Vegas,
will
and you
evolve.
yeah, it's inevitable. Look at how women's bodybuilding, from Richard Lesh to Corey
Oh,
Everson to
yeah. She
to
would she would be in what bikini now?
mhm, to if you look at you were on stage with Linda Murray, who's a legend.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I was kind of right there in Vegas. I mean, it's just has evolved. Like one lady I saw a picture with here, Jimmy Pepperone,
Oh,
and
yes. I love Jeannie.
I mean
She's
her.
amazing.
And she looks like she still can get on the stage again if she wanted to, but I think she'd rather
Listen,
live her life.
I
What?
every time I trained with her, I kept telling her, I'm like, you look like you could step on stage tomorrow. She looks amazing. I feel like she's always in amazing shape, and she looks like she could throw down on a stage at any point in time. She is a badass. I really love Jeannie. She is truly amazing.
I think she could do well now that doing masters now. I think she can do
Oh,
well. Would she? I know the debate was, would she do bodybuilding or would she do physique? Like I
I th-
said, I think
I thought she was.
she was bodybuilding, but
I
as
think
you
she was
know,
bodybuilding.
yeah, she was bodybuilding because she's been a multiple time Olympic competitor before she retired from competing. But as the division has evolved a bit over time, where if you go back to people like Linda Murray, they look like the girls. I think actually the girls of today in physique look bigger than the girls from back in the day. The idea of physique was to have that throwback look to Linda Murray, how they created the men's
Correct.
classic to be a throwback to like the Frank Zanes or the Arnold Schwarzeneggers. But now, even if you put like someone like Linda from back then to someone like Natalia Cuejo, or even if you look at Cheryl Vilgas, just the aesthetics are just somewhat different.
Yes, absolutely. I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah. Shout out to my man KL. He says, I'm not mad at your husband. It's crazy. He says, also, he says this, wait, he says, no, the same thing. Also, he's asked, it says, what kind of workouts do you do for your legs? So what's your workout regimen?
Well, right now I actually have a torn meniscus, so I work out with the newbie, the electro stim, so I can still grow muscle without having to lift insane heavy or anything like that. So
Yeah.
it really helps. But I do lift legs like 4 days a week.
Yeah. Ooh, especially in figure. I mean, in wellness, leg day is mostly that's all you have to. You can't. I know somebody say they have to cut back the upper body training, especially when you're coming from figure or physique. You got to come back to upper body training because you got to downsize yourself because you have to have that in between. You have to have that bikini top and still have that bottom like a
Correct.
bodybuilder. And leg day, that's you have to. I this is why I say like this. Leg day is like an episode of Chappelle's Show when Charlie Murphy meets Rick James, and you remember that part when they go back to Chuck Eddie's house, and Rick says, "F your couch, Eddie Murphy, F your couch," and Charlie Eddie is beating his legs. So you remember he says, "You never give y'all the money," and drag himself out. That's leg day for y'all, ain't that?
Yes, yes. I used to hate leg day until I guess I had to do it so much, and then I just now I love it. I look forward to it. Love quads, and that's tomorrow. I'm so excited.
I know I say this because you're wellness, I give you that. But anybody else who says it that's not in your division, I call them a mutant and a freak. Because most you're a freak because most don't like leg day. It's a lot. They don't like cardio often, but it's a purpose for your division. Here you go from man Kelly says, she's figure I was thinking her second she was wellness. She's wellness, but like any competitor as an amateur, there's crossovers because I interviewed a young lady who turned pro a while back. She was doing wellness, but she earned a pro card in figure because that's one thing I think that fits how the look of bodybuilding because the judges will go by what they see on stage. Where if you can cross over from figure to physique to women's bodybuilding, even to wellness to figure and bikini crossover. That's one thing why the fit model division they don't want
Yeah,
to do crossover. But here's the problem is because these promoters like to make money, because this is a business still, eventually what's going to happen is going to, hey, you know what? We got all these competitors that want to do this division. As long as they get paid for it, let them do it.
right. Right. But I think sometimes too, it's where people are trying to, like I said, they're trying to figure out where they fit. And that is definitely where I was like in wellness. They kept telling me like your upper body is getting too big. And I'm thinking like I lift upper body once a week. Like I don't know what else. Like so then some one of the judges at the high roller show with Mark and Anthony um made the suggestion. They're like, we think if you stay going the path you are, you should probably try going to figure and see how you land. So I'm kind of like in between there right now.
Yeah, you kind of like it's just so it's just so how confusing how you can do one show and place well in that division, but then do another show and not place as well. I've seen ladies who have probably won their regional as a figure competitor, but then they go and figure in nationals and they lose. And then again, it's I think the judges, especially with physique and women's bodybuilding, they don't stick to the criteria that's set for those divisions. It's like instead of getting these, they go by what they see. But if I'm seeing competitors that look like they're more like women's bodybuilding than physique, then they shouldn't be placing or winning.
Correct, correct. It's just, it also depends on who shows up to each show. You know, one show might have like four people in that division, and the next show there's 15. So a lot of it ends up being too who shows up and what everybody looks like at that time. It gets it's a weird learning curve on this for me. Because it's trying to figure it out, but then you just keep grinding away in the gym, and as your body changes, I guess you're gonna, you try to figure out where you fit in best.
Yeah, that's the thing. You just gotta find that division works for you. I think some women don't want to go to a women's body because they're like, I don't want to get too big and be too like. But then again, you're in a division that my guess you might be outgrowing. Your genetics can kick in. If you're the type of person that you can lift merely just a few pounds and then boom, you just get round, big, full delts. Then I think you should go where you feel like fits you better. But I understand you want to stay someplace where you're comfortable with. But the thing is that it's always not always good to be someplace where you feel comfortable. You might have to get out of that comfort space.
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right with that. Yeah.
Yeah, as you know, as a competitor, it's expensive, especially for y'all ladies. I say this because for the guys, all I gotta do is wear a pair of banana hammocks and board shorts. Y'all ladies, is you'll have to like the guys do have their expenses, but compared to y'all women, you have to look very appealing, the attractiveness. You have to have your hair done, your makeup done. The cost of your coaching, the cost of your going to the shows, paying your entry fees, then tanning, and then your suits
I was gonna say, don't forget that suit.
Most definitely. That's right there. Some people, that's their rent, that's their mortgage, that's their car note. Oh, that's a lot of expensive. Who's your
Yep.
superstar?
I got Flex Bella Couture on my last two shows and needing one for wellness and for figure. Each one averages around $1,000 a suit. So yeah. Thank you, babe.
Well, that's a good thing. You got a man who takes care of you. You got yourself a man because that's a struggle because you know what, most ladies got to find a way because you're a teacher and teachers don't get as paid well compared to other jobs. And I think about bodybuilding, it's not as lucrative compared to other sports. Like, are you sponsored by anybody right now?
No, man. Nope.
Yeah, I think that's a tough part. I think sponsorship does help. That's why I tell guys out there
It
who are fans,
does.
yeah, guys out there who are fan of you ladies, reach out with genuine interest. But I know you guys, there's a flip side to this because there is bodybuilding is a kind of fetish world to it. And there's guys out there that like say, Jenny, Krystal, you look kind of cute, like you know who you remind me of, Krystal. Yeah, yeah, you're right. You remind me of that country singer, Miranda Lambert. Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
gosh, I've heard that so much.
Hey, you're in
That's so
Vegas.
funny.
Yeah, you're in Vegas. You could do this. Make a little side catch, do some, impersonations. All you gotta do is lip sync, be on stage, get your hair done like that. Hey, you can make some side money on that. You
That's
know,
so funny. I've heard that so much in my life.
yeah. Everybody has. I look like I don't know. I look like I've been told I look like I don't know.
Stop
uh,
it. Stop.
I, I, I'll be okay. I'll be nice. I know, but I know, but I just like I said again, I think people who are on the other side, they have issue when it comes to women with muscle. It offends their senses when they see women build muscle. And you don't have to be like it could be ladies in bikini and wellness. It's one thing with the women that higher end like physique and bodybuilding fitness, you know. But even y'all ladies get picked on, like especially in school. And I know sometimes you have student parent conferences. I know sometimes you might have dad says, "Hello, Miss Howell," and then the mom say like, oh, "What's she doing here?" Yeah,
Yeah, definitely. But I definitely don't look like your common teacher, I guess. The kids actually said something today about it. They're like, "You've got the best swag." I'm like, "Thank you, I think." They're like, "And if somebody doesn't like the way you look, you could just beat them up." I'm like, "When you're adult, you don't go around just beating people up."
their children know better.
I
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah. They shouldn't. I know. I think but sometimes, like sometimes to quote the great late Patrick Swayze, "There's a time to be nice and a time not to be nice." Roadhouse. Boom.
That
I
was a
thought he
great
was
one.
bigger. I am. But yeah, I think anybody gets in sport, understand the aspects of it, the sacrifice, the training, the dieting. I know you and your coach has been working, in training, and also the diet is one thing. Like, what's the diet like for you? What's especially when especially I know your kids. You got a 17-year-old home. I know he's not going to eat mom's. Like you're prepping, and he's a 17-year-old. He likes to eat pizza and burgers.
Oh yeah, he's whatever. But I eat basically like a keto carnivore diet because of my food allergies. I have really terrible food allergies. I don't eat sugar and I don't eat complex carbs. I can't process them. So if I eat things with sugar, I break out in hives. I get really sick. So I don't eat them. I do not have a typical bodybuilder diet. It's actually been peak week is actually the thing that we're trying to figure out the most um, because it's not the common what everybody else is doing. I can figure it out type thing. But we're working on it, and I have confidence that the next time we do it, it'll be even better. So
Yeah, I know some of these who have also have issues with like food allergies or sometimes immune deficiency disorders. You got to
yes.
find a way to work around that, especially if you're determined to be in this sport. Here, shout out to my man K. He says, "That's tough." Yeah, because you know what? I like sugar too. I like sweets. And I'm pre-diabetic, so as long as because I this afternoon I had chicken nuggets and some shrimp, and then I had for my dinner I had baked chicken and some vegetables. But I'm not a bodybuilder. I'm a guy. I like to eat something. with some salt, a little sugar to it, something. When I made my choice, because like I said, I was taking my mom for a long time, and and with her being sick, I put myself to the back burner. And then
Yes,
food can be both a tool or weapon. It can be comfort, and
100%.
it can change you. But then when she passed, and then it's time to take care of me. And like I said, I was almost 500 pounds, but I dropped down a good bit. I was working out and going exercising, but then my car broke down. I couldn't go to the gym, and then I got issues with my body parts are falling apart. Plus, I have a pacemaker, have almost 10 years, but I still try to find ways to do better things. I might try to go out and walk a bit. I can't do as much of my knees. Like it's on bone practice. I'm thinking about surgery. I don't want to, but I feel like I need to, because especially if I really want to get better shape, better condition.
Yeah, we'll just start walking. I love the fact that you said that you would just go out walking. That's what I do. We do with my husband. He has to go walk in between at his lunch at work. Just small things like that to just try to help. It sounds like your path and my husband's path was somewhat the same. He now has a pacemaker as well as in that, and he is in the 400-pound range now, and very proud of him for doing that, and he just continues to work on it. But it's just like small changes as you go, not anything psychopathic like bodybuilders do. Don't do anything drastic, you know, just stay on the wagon and just do small things. And it
Yes.
sounds like so far what you ate today was fine. I'd
Yeah,
be
I
good
know.
with that.
Yeah, I know. I try to be smart, but every now and then I like something a little different. And like I said, I had a pacemaker for almost 10 years. I had my first heart attack when I was 39. I wasn't even 40 yet. It's just genetics. My father had issues with it. My mother had issues. I mean, it's just sometimes, it's hard to fight those things, especially when you went through with lupus. And this is a question I asked you, ladies. It's from the other guy. Tell me that thing that you wanted the most. Tell me that thing you desired, especially after that long show and being on prep. Tell me, because I know you can't eat anything specifically, but what's that thing that makes you stranger, but yet makes you stronger?
A big steak with lots of butter.
Butter. Yeah.
I eat a ton of butter. Protein butter. That's my thing. But a big steak with some butter on it. If I'm feeling really spicy, maybe some peanut butter.
Peanut butter. That's spicy peanut butter.
Yep. When you can't have sugar, that's that's the way it goes.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
it's the no fun train.
Well, the thing is, anything you want bad enough, you have to make those sacrifices. And that's the thing is bodybuilding. There's a lot of sacrifices. Your time, your money, your body. This sport can. I keep saying this when I have interviews. This sport can be mentally, physically, emotionally, financially, and spiritually draining. Most
100%.
people, yeah, most people when you want to do what y'all do. And again, always is that issue again about steroids. And it's only a small factor to it, a very small factor. Because if you're not, consistent on your diet, if you're not disciplined, motivation can change from the win. But if you follow the guidelines, like what your trainer had put out for you and what your coach has put out for you, and you just can't. You just like I said, not everybody can do what y'all do.
Oh, absolutely. It's a very hard thing. After my son's first show, I was like, "Are you going to do it again?" And he was like, "It was hard, but yeah, let's go." And I'm like, "Yes." But it's like, it's just knowing. I think a lot of it for me is knowing you can do hard things and not only do it, but do it well and get through something you didn't think you could do. Like, there's something in that drives me.
hmm Like to say the great Rocky Bowl says, it's not how hard you can hit, it's how hard you can take the hits and keep moving forward. Because you know
Amen.
what, there's days it can be tough. You're dealing with some a lot of stuff right now with you, and you're determined that you want to keep going on this route. Maybe someday be an IFB pro, be on stage. Maybe going to the Olympia with your coach Missy, and hang out with her, and just finding your way. Because a lot of people again don't understand. That's why I say when I do I talk about this thing. I do a podcast on Monday. And I say like educate yourself about bodybuilding. Reach out to somebody who's a competitor. Don't be so used to your prejudice. Like I really tell me that like they be with women saying, I don't want to be big like you. But you're not gonna be like that. I see guys talking about, women should have muscles, but hey, you look like me. Why are you talking about she don't have muscles? I think everybody who gets in sport, you understand what's involved in it, the work, the consistency, the diet, and also how much it kind of helps change your life. You know,
Oh yeah,
so
it's yes. And I think once you, if you do it and you try it and you love it, like you're there for life. Like I can't imagine not working out. I can't imagine not doing this. Even my doctors are like, "Well, you're still gonna work out, right?" And I'm like, "Yes." And they're like, "We figured." And I'm like, "Well, we'll stop when I'm dead." Like that's how it's gonna go for me. So it's really a mindset that my dad actually put forth in me, and he went to the gym up until his last week of life. So I can't like he paved the way, and I'm gonna just keep it going and hopefully pass the torch on to my kids.
yeah, your dad was a real man. Yeah, I gotta say that. And it's good that you got to support your family, kids. I don't know if I could be sitting in the audience and say, "That's my mom there," and the guy says, "Yeah, that's the blonde with the yeah." Hey, hey, hey. Your husband be fighting. Yeah, hey, that's my wife, man. But like I said again, it's good you have the support of people like that, your family, your kids, your friends, and even your students. Because again, this sport can be a lot for anybody. I've talked to ladies tell me that this could be a drink. Some ladies say after a while, they'll feel appreciated, get tired of the grind. But if you love something good enough, you're gonna keep on doing it. You have to just sometimes get out of your own way to do what y'all do.
Absolutely.
So, ma'am, we're not gonna hold you much too longer because I know you gotta get ready for training. You just got out of school. You gotta go to bed in about an hour. You know, yeah,
Just
and
eat a little.
yeah, get your sleep. It's the weekend. Party, kick it up. Don't be out for the kids. Yeah, I remember when I was a kid, we got out of school, throw the book bags, don't do my homework, watch He-Man, and then boom. But
He-Man, the best show ever.
that's the thing is that it was He-Man, Thundercats. I think those are shows that really
Yeah.
cartoons. Mhm. Yeah, I mean sometimes there's a show called Me TV. It's called Me TV Tunes, and I get early. If I get really early, I can catch Silverhawks. And I used to partly metal, partly wheel. I
Yeah.
mean, I used to love watching that. Cartoons now, Saturday morning, it's not like it used to be. It's Saturday morning's dead.
No,
It's
it's
just
definitely not the same.
I
Definitely not
think
the same.
yeah, So anything, which is what I would ask you as a competitor, what would you want out of bodybuilding for yourself as a whole?
I think that is constantly changing because the first time I stepped on stage, it was just to make it on stage and to do this for myself and I don't want to say winning wasn't really the goal. It was just the fact that I made it so far, losing that 167 pounds and stepping on stage in a thong bikini and asking to be judged. I mean, the amount of terror and fear I felt was immense. Now it's like evolved into I want to try to win. I want to try to get better to the point I believe a little bit more in myself that I can do it, and I want to try to accomplish that. Yeah,
The thing is, if anything you want bad enough, you're willing to take that time and put in the effort to it. You deserve it. It's gonna be tough, like I said. Wellness is becoming a very big and popular division. It's also the growing number of master competitors now. That's really blowing up.
yeah,
Um, I think if you find the right show, because you're right there in Vegas, there's the amateur Olympia, that's also great. We get qualification, or there's also the Masters USA's that's also coming up. There's also the North Americans. They do a lot of master competitors. I know a couple ladies are in the pro cards there. You know, just finding the right show and the right time, and also working on things. Because you know what, I think I saw this video. It was Jay Cutler doing some workout with his quads. If I can find it, I'll see if I can send it to you. You might want to check it out. It might
I
be
would love it.
uh, it might be a little bit for you, but it might work and help you out.
I would love it.
Yeah. So, guys, if you want to follow Krystal in her path as a bodybuilder and also wish her best luck on her upcoming surgery, whenever it is, reach out to a genuine interest, guys. But, guys, don't be this guy and say, "Yo, Krystal, yo, buff blonde. Yeah, you look like Brandon Rabbit, Amanda Lambert. I like to." Hey, no, 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 no. Stop that. You sick freaks. this is what you say to ladies. Said, Mrs. Howell, we are interested in you. Your story, what you've been through, a teacher, a mother, your story of your medical struggles. We are a company who like to interested in sponsoring athletes. We want to see you grow and develop in your path. So if our product is something that works with you, it fits with your lifestyle, we would like to offer you a contract and make it be one of our brand ambassadors. So, madam, if you're interested in it, and if something that, like I said again, that works with you and you are comfortable with our product, let us know, and we're happy to have you on board.
That would be great.
Be like, sign the contract, baby. We can just put you out to it. Make you Amanda Lambert look alike. So make some money off you. But it's good that we do need people out there who want to support people like you. And it's good
Yeah.
that your husband supports you, your kids support you, your students support you. Best of luck to your boy on his upcoming show. I
Yeah.
know,
Thank you.
yeah. I mean, it's being a young man. I know a couple ladies who's they're both the sons and they're also their mothers. They compete in father because like I said, bodybuilding is I think a bodybuilding really influence a lot of people in their path in as athletes.
Yes, absolutely. I think it's amazing.
So, ma'am, we're not gonna hold you much too longer. You have anybody you want to give a shout out to while we let you go?
No, just shout out to my family and thank you for having me. This has been a pleasure. I appreciate it.
Well, ma'am, it's a pleasure for me because this is why I do this. I want to give y'all ladies a voice. Like I said, when I started this, because I was doing this because I was taking care of my mom. It gave me something to do. I was doing content. Then after she was gone, I was doing interviews. And I really want to be an advocate for y'all ladies. The guys that get enough attention. Y'all ladies don't. Just saw Arnold Schwarzenegger announce they're going to raise up the prize money for the Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic to $750,000 for the men's
Yes.
open. And I do watch his movies. I loved Arnold as a kid. Arnold, and they'll get to the chopper. But when doing this content, I learned something about him. I don't like how he treats y'all ladies. You're in a vision where he likes. That is wellness and bikini. He kicked out women's bodybuilding, physique, and even figure in 212. I don't care about the guys, but you know, but I think I was talking with some people right now with this new prize money and with fit model coming in. There's a good chance fitness might get kicked out. It's on next on chopping block. But again, y'all ladies deserve just as much recognition, much opportunities. I'm not saying you should get paid, $750,000, but at least enough when you do a show, you have something to cover your charges, your travel expenses, your posing suits. It just should be sport you can make a living out of because it's a fringe sport, and always they're going to use steroids. Like we're going to do a discussion house. Steroids not exclusive just in bodybuilding. It's you see actors use it for movies. You
Mhm.
see, you right there in Las Vegas, UFC. As an ex-fighter used to fight UFC, she got busted for steroids. John Jones is one of the biggest peg users around. But it's so easy to pick on bodybuilder because it's so extreme, and not everybody can do what
Mhm.
y'all do.
Yes, that is absolutely right.
Yeah. Well, anyway, folks, before we let you go, I got no. He has to say something. He says, "Oh, Krista, I want to tell you something. You
Yeah.
are beautiful."
Well,
Yes.
thank you.
I'm sorry about him. I'm seeing a specialist, but he's becoming the dominant personality because he completes me. But ma'am, we say thank you. I don't to go back to my favorite movie, Batman Begins. At the end of it, when Jim Gordon says to Batman, "I need a chance to thank you." I said, "You never have to." That's why I do this channel. I give y'all ladies a voice. I wish I could do more. I wish I could, but just anyone like yourself who get the opportunity and being what you went through, it's just my pleasure.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
All right, you're welcome.
All
So,
right.
folks, we like to appreciate y'all who came through here and shout out to our man KL the Wanderer, and also everybody who watched this video. Also, shout out to lovely Mrs. Krystal Howell. Wish her best of luck in her life, and hope to
Thank
see her in the
you.
future. So, folks, it's your man always George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk. Like, throw out, subscribe, good luck, and God bless. Good luck, Chelsea.